request on there.
Okay.
I'm just saying so that way the owner knows that
That it's,
if you go, if you're an attorney, if you go into law, into the courthouse, hey, you own the property, you get to do whatever you want to with it.
right, so,
Okay.
and I will, we can make them build the fence, should in 20 years he decide to tear down the fence, we can't require a continual fence there unless we enact an ordinance like Irving has that says you have to maintain a fence around an apartment complex.
Okay, any other comments? Okay, at this moment, I will entertain a motion to approve the zoning change request for MacMe Investments LLC subdivision. Do I have a motion on the floor? I'll entertain a motion, excuse me.
I'll make a motion that we approve the rezoning of McNamee Investments.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Neeson. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
A second by Councilman Silva. Any citizens' comments at this point? Okay, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. 5-0, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Moving on to item 3F. Consideration and action to approve the hiring of Denton, Navarro, Rocha, Burnell, Hyde, and Zach PC to provide legal counsel services for the city of Floresville regarding the city's police department and associated issues, and authorizing the mayor to sign a letter of engagement. And we do have, from Denton and Navarro, we do have Charles Zek here in our audience in case we have any questions.
I have a question. What does that mean, authorizing the mayor to sign the letter of engagement?
It's an agreement from the council, but the council would have to tell me if I can do it,
Agreement for what?
for their legal services.
Legal services? Okay. And are we hiring them for all legal matters or just?
No, it would be for all issues related to the Floresville Police Department.
Relating to the police department? And how much is this firm gonna cost us?
In your paperwork, you will see
It says 200 or 250.
$250 an hour.
But is that just for one person? Is there gonna be more than one? Is it gonna be 500?
Mr. Zek, I'll let you go ahead and come up to the podium.
Hi, my name is Charles Zek. I'm with the law firm of Denton, Navarro, Rocha, Bernal, Hyde, and Zek. In answer to your question, council member, our fees are our hourly rates. They're different. I always tell the council it's because we provide city attorney services as well, and I don't like. Sometimes they'll compare the rates that we charge our clients when we're city attorney to the rates we charge for special projects, and they're different. We have lower rates for city attorney services than we do for special projects. But our special counsel rates for being engaged for particular special projects is a 3-tiered rate. It is $250 an hour for partners, $225 an hour for senior associates, and $200 an hour for associates. We also have a rate for law clerks when we have them working on projects, which is $125 an hour. And then paralegal time is charged at $85 an hour. We bill on the 10th an hour, which means that every 6 minutes, some law firms bill on the quarter hour. So whether you talk to them for 3 minutes or 4 minutes, they bill you for 15 minutes. So we only bill for six minute increments.
And it could be up to about, what, $800-900 an hour? If you got all of them together?
Oh, well, okay, well, that's a legitimate question. So we try not to, well, first of all we do is represent local governments. So we're very cognizant of where your dollars come from for purposes of paying for services, specifically legal services, because that's what we do. And so we're cognizant of that. And so we do not bill for 2 attorneys' time unless we believe that the second attorney involved in whatever the issue is brings value to that part of the project. Quite honestly, I'm not intimately familiar with the exact issues and the intricacies associated with that. But more often than not, there will be one lawyer working on a particular issue. And occasionally we may need to bring in another lawyer. Let me give you an example. I would be the primary lawyer on this particular service, but if we got into some of the intricacies associated with police officers and police department issues, Albert Pena in our law firm, who is a partner also, and also charges at $250 an hour, has been dealing with police and police issues specifically for about 25 years. And so if there was a particular issue that I felt that he knew more about off the top of his head, I would bring him in to deal with that particular part of the issue, so because he wouldn't have to do any research, any things like that. So you get more value for your money. You will never see a bill, I can promise you this, where you are billed for 3 lawyers like for a meeting. Perhaps we have a conference about your issue. You're not going to see a bill that has 3 lawyers billing time for that conference, I promise you that.
600 an hour.
Yeah, that's what it would be, right? 250. Well, it'd be, if there was 3 shareholders, it would be 750 total, 250 for each lawyer. You're not going to see that you would never see that on one of our bills.
And who contacted you?
I was contacted by the mayor.
Yes.
Okay, and if we do hire him, where is the money being budgeted from?
If the council agrees to hire, they are not to be in conjunction with our attorneys. They will be replacing the Lou Rosenberg law firm representing the city with the police department issues. So we're not, so just the police department issues. And we wouldn't have Lou Rosenberg and Chris Hug as well as them. They would be specifically for police department issues.
But where's the money being budgeted from?
It's in our budget that we pay any of our lawyers from.
It would come out of the same as ours for PD legal or general legal.
Because we haven't even budgeted the 37,500, right? And so it was your idea to hire? How can we?
No. I looked into it because of communication issues that came about, and
But we usually have, no offense.
No, ma'am.
Okay, but we usually, they pick like 3 lawyers and then.
well, because of the situation being that in 2 weeks we have the review coming up on June the 8th, we didn't have time to go out for bids per se. This particular law firm
Review for what weeks?
is the police department review is scheduled for June the 8th. This law firm, I spoke with TML to get some ideas. This law firm is
I know you're
rated
excellent.
one of the best. And so in talking to them, talking to TML and also talking to this law firm, I felt that this was the best situation.
And-
Ultimately, it is up to the council to approve it or not, but this is what I've put on the agenda. And again, I did speak with Mr. Rosenberg and Mr. Hug, so they're fully aware of what the situation is.
And what is the police business about that we have to hire an outside attorney?
We are looking at any issues that are currently going on with the Floresville Police Department. If it's any litigation or any situations with the review, of the final review report coming up on June the 8th.
But how do we hire an attorney if we haven't even had a?
We
I've
have
never
an
even spoken to
we
someone.
have an attorney. We have 2 attorneys.
I understand that, but
This would be in
what I'm
place of.
saying, if we have attorneys already, why are we gonna hire outside attorneys? I don't even know what the consultant even has got to say. He gave, I guess, a verbal to, you said to you, Chris?
He gave it to the committee and then we presented it to the last special meeting that I believe you weren't in attendance on,
Oh, no,
of a
but-
summary of his verbal preliminary update.
So it was on verbal, he sent you a written?
No, we compiled the written out of what he had told the committee and then I
When you
verified.
compiled the written, so in other words, someone gave you something and you wrote down what y'all wanted to write down, or?
No, I wrote down what I was told and I called and confirmed with the DA and county attorney and the consultant himself to make sure that what
I
he
mean,
had told the committee and
Did
the
they give you that in writing, Chris?
No.
No, that's why we are discussing the fact that on June 8th, the final and official report will be coming out.
Chris,
Well, hold on, one at a time.
I've got something to say. Okay, I got something written, typed up. I was thinking that was from the consultant himself. So who typed that up?
I typed that up, the committee told me what the
Who gave you
consultant told
authority to
them.
do that?
I met with the committee and the request was placed on the agenda for a report.
So is a consultant paying you, or? Who's paying you?
The city pays us.
The city's paying for the consultant to have you something, you wrote something up for the consultant?
No, I wrote up what was told to
This
the
is
committee.
straying away from the issue.
It's the same issue. Because I'm saying, how can somebody give something verbal to the attorney for him to write something up? We're already paying him over $37,000, and now we're gonna have to pay attorney's fees because he wants you to call him and write something up?
First of all.
I don't know
Okay.
what's going on.
All right. First of all, Mrs. Cantu wanted to get an update of what we have heard.
Yeah, because we were in the dark.
Okay, so our attorney asked me and the mayor, we give them our information. Mr. Hug verified it through the district attorney, county attorney, and Mr. Taylor, and just wrote up a basic summary of what we heard.
Who wrote it up?
Chris, Mr. Hug. he
It's
wrote it up.
hearsay.
What's
Huh?
yours say?
Well, that's why we didn't want it, but you wanted it. You're the one that wanted
Yeah,
it.
I asked for it.
Okay, once again, we have so strayed from the item at hand.
Hey, Chris, can I speculate something, please?
That's up to the council. I can't tell you this.
I'm gonna speculate that the consultant firm was hired to recommend terminating the chief of police. And now we are hiring a law firm to defend the lawsuits that are coming. That's my opinion, and that's what I'm speculating.
That's Councilwoman Cantu's opinion. Any other comments from our council members?
No, I mean, but I don't understand. We want to know what's going on with the consultant, correct? Now, one time, have you ever brought anything to the
But that
attorney?
doesn't have to do with this.
Well, it does, because how am I gonna make an opinion if we need a defense attorney, which it sounds like he's defending the city
He will
against the
rep-
police department.
He will represent the city in all issues, just like
So
Mr. Hood.
So we're no longer gonna use,
If the council approves on this, no, we would not be using Mr. Hood.
so we're terminating.
But just for the police department
Not
issues.
wholly, just for the police department.
I don't understand.
Any other comments from our council?
Mr. Zach, I recognize your name, and does your firm also represent the EDC here in Floresville?
Yes, we do.
How long has that arrangement, do you know?
Oh, I think that we've been representing the Floresville Economic Development Corporation for about 3 years now.
2.5 to 3 years.
2.5 or 3 years, yes.
Have you represented Floresville in any other way?
I'm fairly certain we have represented the city of Floresville through the Texas Municipal League Agreement Risk Pool in previous lawsuits, but I don't know off the top of my head what they would be.
Oh,
I got a question. I guess for my own sake,
Yes, sir.
why are you getting hired?
The only,
I mean, what are you supposed to do for the city of Floresville?
it is my understanding that there are some internal issues associated with the police department. And the mayor asked me if my law firm would be willing and would have the capacity to be able to assist in any issues associated with whatever those issues are. And I personally don't know, I asked her particularly not to tell me what they're about, because until we acquired an attorney-client relationship, I didn't want to know what they were. So it's my understanding it's going to help to, regardless of what this particular, it's my understanding, consultant report has to say, I can help you through any questions or issues associated with the report, answer any legal questions or issues associated with that, regardless of what it says, and I don't know what it says.
And if you're hired, are you gonna communicate with all of us or just with the mayor?
No, ma'am, my client is the city council as a whole. When I communicate with my client, I make sure that, well, first of all, I'll communicate however you tell me, right? Because the client is the city council, and so however you decide. But my general practice is to never give a single piece of information to one council member without giving it to the entire council.
I would really appreciate that if you're hired,
Yes, ma'am, that is our practice, and that's how we operate.
because that's not what we did with the other one.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I don't know that, but that's not how my law firm operates, and it's not how we conduct our business.
Any other comments or? Okay, if there are no other comments, I will entertain a motion to approve the hiring of Denton, Navarro, Rocha, Burnell, Hyde, and Zec PC to provide legal counsel services for the city of Floresville regarding the city's police department and associated issues, and authorizing the mayor to sign a letter of engagement. I will entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Jacob Silva. Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
I have a second. Any citizens' comments?
We're kind of in the dark here. I know we can't ask questions and you can't respond, but assuming that some of the questions that were asked and answered mean what I think it means, why don't we find out what's wrong with the police department, if there is anything wrong, and what needs to be done, and then have a constructed effort at trying to fix it before we go paying legal counsel. Now, if it doesn't work, or for some reason we need to go further than that, then I would suggest at that point that we look for legal counsel. But to me, we don't even know, what we have wrong, at least the citizens don't, and I think some of you don't either. And we don't know if we can fix it or why it requires legal counsel to begin with. What can be wrong? I can't envision at this point that it requires that kind of thing unless you're proposing to take adverse action on somebody and you're preparing for that event. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez.
But the wait is what I would ask, wait until we find out and see what we can do on our own without legal involvement, and then proceed whichever way we need the government.
Yes.
I wanted to ask, is our attorney, existing attorneys, are they not qualified to do, being that we're already paying them? Are they not qualified for what y'all are looking for in the police department? That we have to go outside and pay, it seems to me, a lot for someone else? That would be my question, because if he's qualified and he's already on payroll, then it would be, seems to me that it would be not right for us to have to pay for someone else to come into our business. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other citizens' comments? I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Nissen? I'm sorry, Councilman Silva, to approve the hiring of Denton, Navarro, Rocha, Burnell, Hyde, and Zec PC to provide legal counsel services for the city of Floresville regarding the city's police department and associated issues, and authorizing the mayor to sign a letter of engagement. I have a motion on the floor, and I also have a second by Councilman Nissen. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. All those opposed? Thank you. 32. It is now 8:20, and this council is going to take a 5-minute break, and we will be back very shortly to finish up. 8:19, Monica.
I don't think I've seen you since you fell out of the chair at the Kaler mediation.
How are you doing?
Oh, doing all right.
Yeah.
Busy.
Yeah, well, everybody.
Oh, yeah, I know, I'm talking to Clarissa.